had a nice morning, but now it's covering. It's thunderstorms. That was actually forecast that there is a risk of thunderstorms. So we're just seeing them down there. There's now a little bit of wind coming and we might get wet, so we're preparing the boat for some water.
Wir verlassen Bernera Bay. Es war eigentlich wunderschön. Ich war auch schwimmen. Es hat nicht so viele Quallen gehabt wie an anderen Orten und viele Seehunde. Wir haben viele Seehunde gesehen. Wir machen uns jetzt auf den Weg nach Tobermory. Da Dienstag wird ein kleiner Sturm, nicht schlimm, aber trotzdem, wir wollen da sicher an einer Mooringboje sein. Darum machen wir uns jetzt den Sound of Mull hoch Richtung Tobermory. Gut, dann bin ich bereit.
We took the decision to sail up to Tobermory. The rain had stopped for a moment, now it has started again, so it's a bit wet. It's not cold, but it's just a bit wet. I think we have to get used to that. We are in the final approach into Tobermory. The sail was about 3 hours. Initially there was a bit of rain, a bit of mist, visibility was okay. And now look at that, the sun came out, it's nice and dry and warm again. A great day. Today we're taking you to a special place. We're on our dinghy. We're leaving Tobermory and we're going to cross the Sound of Mull to the other side. And there's a small surprise waiting there. First time I really measured the speed. We're doing 15 knots at full speed, so that's actually quite good on our dinghy. Actually, currently I'm slowing down so that Kathrin can film, but we're going to speed up again.
Trotz Räder am Dinghy ist also nicht ganz einfach, da das hochzuziehen. Es ist einfach extrem schwer mit dem Motor, dem Metallboden, alles ist also nicht ganz ohne. Und einer muss halt die Schuhe ausziehen. Das war heute Daniel. Helle Begeisterung von Daniel.
Okay, lessons learned. Next time we take a towel and we take the boots.
Nice socks.
Richard will love them.
Yes. Alles Schiefersteine. Sehr cool.
This is quite a fairy tale forest here. We're back on mainland and there are no midgets. Since 2017, Annabel Thomas and her team produce one of the finest single malt whisky in a completely sustainable way. Nc'Nean whisky has its name from the Queen of Spirits in Gaelic legends. She was a huntress, a fierce protector of nature, and never afraid to walk her own path. And this perfectly mirrors the company's ethos.
So Annabel is our founder. This is her parents' farm. So this used to be the working farm for the estate. And they've owned the estate for over 20 years. And halfway into 10 years ago, halfway into their tenancy here, they said, right, well, let's do something else with these buildings. And they wanted to create single malt Scotch. And we're fairly well positioned. So we've got Tobermory over the way, we've got Nc'Nean, Oban and Fort William relatively close by, so we're in a pretty good area to take advantage of whisky tourism. Oh, she wasn't a massive whisky drinker. So, and she also felt like the imagery surrounding whisky was quite masculine. And so therefore you don't get as many women asking in a bar to drink a single malt because it doesn't appeal. So she's trying to make it appeal to more women, and the flavour profile that we've tried to create goes alongside that. So we're really trying to push a profile for whisky which is very light and very fruity. Now, unlike a gin, this actually resembles our whisky. So this is why we did this. You will drink it like a gin, but you'll taste whisky. So it's an introduction into single malt, and it's an introduction into our brand as a whisky distillery. I can serve this to you neat, so you can try it neat, or I can serve it to you with tonic and ice as a long drink.
But you also smell whisky with sugar.
Whereas our base spirit for the botanical spirit is the whisky spirit, so it's, as you smelt and you tasted, it's got loads of flavour. So the botanicals on top of that are designed just to marry with that flavour as well as we can do. And then the tonic is to make it taste like gin. It does have juniper in it, so that does connect it with gin. It has juniper, coriander, grapefruit, licorice, chamomile, angelica, heather, bog myrtle, thyme and sorrel. So each of these bottles is a casking in something different. And the nice thing about this is because, so I told you whisky has a lot of rules. There are certain things that you can't use to mature whisky. And two of these bottles are an example of that. So this is a Mondino cask and this is a vermouth cask. Both of these you can't use for whisky. But because we were using botanical spirit, it's okay. And we've also got a bourbon. So the flavour that you get in these bottles is wildly different from what you just tried neat in your glass. It's super interesting, they're super quirky. There's 3 cocktail recipes here, but there's also loads more on our website. So we produced this in 2019 just to keep ourselves busy before we released the whisky.
The production process of this organic whisky is 100% carbon neutral. Nc'Nean use trees from their own woodlands to produce the steam for their production. Cooling water is recycled in a large pond from where it is reused, and their bottles are made from 100% recycled glass.
The red box over there, that's what crushes our barley up. So in order for us to process the barley, we need to turn it from a grain into like a flour. You have to have your barley malted if you're going to call your whiskey a malt whiskey. If you don't use barley or you don't have it malted, then you're a grain whiskey, not a malt whiskey. And the single part of that description of whiskey delineates that all comes from one distillery, i.e. us. So we've processed all that barley and we've turned it into whiskey, and that's what makes it a single malt. It's nothing to do with age or anything like that. It's all to do with the barley. Okay. What happens in here before this is the barley goes in, crushed up. You add your 5,000 litres of water, hot water, and the heat in the water will activate enzymes inside the barley that turn the starches into sugars. So you create sugary water in the mash tun. Your 5,000 litres of hot water is sprayed in, and you kind of let your barley steep in that water. That does its job. Then you extract it, recirculate it, and then finally it goes into one of these tanks. So in your 5,000 litres, we add our 2 yeasts. They go to work. Yeasts are sugar funguses, so they eat away at all the sugar that we put in there in the water and convert that sugar to alcohol. And if you alter your yeast recipe, you alter the combination of congeners that are produced, and therefore your things will smell and taste different. That's the idea. And it's pretty exciting because when we use like a champagne yeast, we develop very, very tropical flavours in here. So this will smell like mango as opposed to apple, you know, it's really quite cool. We've done trials with a brewer's yeast, which made it smell very orangey. And the idea is that you create those flavour compounds in here and then you distill them out and catch them at the other end to create flavours in whiskey that you don't usually find. I'm going to make you guys a wee cocktail so you can try the whiskey as a long drink.
And this is the very moment when Kathrin becomes a whiskey drinker.
Yeah?
I mean, you are right, you wouldn't just buy it on the bottle alone, but you do tend to, it does attract your attention. So of all the bottles on the shelf, you might go, that one looks interesting, that one looks different to every other bottle here.
Perfect. Okay. After our visit of this innovative young business and the tasting of their excellent product, we were strengthened in our ideas to continue our own experiment, outside common rules, and to make our own wake. We were charmed by the untouched nature on our way back to the shore of the Sound of Mull, where Fred waited patiently for our return. And in our bag, of course, we carried a bottle of Nc'Nean's finest.
So, es gibt ein Workout für Daniel.
Looks like some hard work, yes. Okay.
Zum Glück haben wir den Anker so hoch eingegraben. Alles richtig gemacht. Außer die Gezeiten falsch berechnet.
I didn't miscalculate the tides. I knew it would go out and I knew it would come in. It's just the question how much. But actually the amount of tide that went out is much more than what came in the meantime. So that means a bit of work. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe or leave a comment below. Join us next time when we go past Ardnamurchan Point and sail to the island of Canna.